Welcome to Her Real Estate Journey, the podcast where we celebrate and empower women in real estate. I'm your host, Lisa Dillon. Each week, we'll delve into their journeys from the struggles they've faced to the glories they've achieved. Our guests are rock star women agents who are sharing their experiences, insights, and advice to help you succeed in your own real estate career. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, this podcast is for you. Together, we'll explore the highs and lows of the real estate industry, learn from each other's experiences, and build a supportive community of women who are making their mark. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's get started. Hey, we are here with Tracy Henning, who is my first Canadian. Super excited.
Yay, Canada.
Yay, Canada. Yeah, so Tracy, thank you so much for joining us on Her Real Estate Journey. And just excited to get to know you. And I understand you are a 30-year veteran with
Yes.
real estate industry.
I am. I do like quite a few webinars and stuff, just coaching and teaching. And I had somebody in the chat one time say to me, they said, how can you have been in the real estate industry for over 30 years? You don't have a gray hair on your head. And my moderator who was with me replied in the chat, she's a really good hairdresser.
I love it.
I know, it was funny. I thought it was quite cute. So yeah, I have been around for a very, very long time in the real estate industry. I've seen all kinds of markets. I've seen good markets and bad markets and good markets again and bad markets again and all kinds of crazy things. You know, I've seen people give away cars trying to sell their homes, cruises, buy down the interest rates, all kinds of, crazy things to get that house sold.
Wow. So go all the way back to the beginning when you first got started, and what made you, is this your only career you've ever done? Because you're not over like 30 years old. So I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, we're going to go with that. We'll just stay with that. So yeah, actually I come from a contractor background, I guess you would say. My father was a developer, and our family still develops houses and projects and stuff like that. So back when I was like 17, 18 or something, my dad kept saying, go get your real estate license, go get it. And I'm like, no, Dad, I'm too young. And, I went down the university road and I was 3 years into it where I'm like, okay, I got to put my big girl panties on and make a decision. What do I want to do with my life? And I just knew back then that I wanted to start making money. Like I was tired of going to school. I knew that in order to get a degree or a master's, like I'd still have a few more years of going to school. So I was like, maybe I'll go down the path of being a real estate agent. So I went back and told my parents, and my parents are like, are you sure? Are you sure that's what you want to do? And I'm like, I didn't know any different. So I was like, okay, yeah.
And it'll be fun, they said.
Yeah, it'll be fun, they said. Exactly. So when I started, it was back in 94. So anybody that's been around, like, it was not great back in the early 90s, mid 90s. And so, but you know what? It was the perfect training ground for me because the market was slow and I didn't know any different. Like, this was just my new career. So that's how I got into it in a nutshell. So, helping with a family business, but primarily, selling real estate on my own, which I still do today. And we still have our family development company, and I still do that. And I, have Porchlight, which is my online business too. So I'm very busy, but it's good. It keeps me out of trouble.
I love it. So your family business, is that new construction houses, or is that commercial, or what's?
No, it's new construction houses. So
Okay.
it's mainly single family homes and
Gotcha.
condo developments, like townhouses, and my family did do apartment buildings like way back in the 80s, but We've been doing single family houses, duplexes, townhouses, that sort of thing as of
Very cool.
late. So, no commercial stuff. However, I have done a little bit of commercial real estate. I tend to stay away from it because, for those of the people that have been in commercial, it can be very complex and it's just something that I never really wanted to get into. I just want to keep my life as
Right.
simple as possible.
I understand. I understand. I pretty much do just residential. I do some land. And I dabble
Yeah.
a little, we don't have a whole lot of construction, a whole lot of commercial here. So
Mhm.
um,
Okay.
I would starve if I did commercial. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
like, now do you like working with buyers or sellers the better?
I like both. I like the enthusiasm from buyers because they're excited. It's like you can share with their passion. I like working with sellers too because it usually involves some sort of transition period in their
Mhm.
lives, whether they're downsizing or they're upsizing or they're, maybe purchasing for family. So that's always fun too. I definitely have I would say a 50-50 mix, but I tend to be on the seller side of things, which I think just comes with the territory. When I was younger, I that's all I did was buyers, first time home buyers, because
Mhm.
that kind of was my age range that people were going through. And then it's slowly morphed into more sellers, but like I'm still out there, with my buyers and stuff like that, heading out the vehicle and showing properties. And so, yeah, so a little bit of both, but leaning a little more towards sellers.
It does. I have found it took me a little while to get listings like after the first maybe 2 or 3 years.
Hmm.
It's hard for I guess for the new agent because I like to talk to new agents and seasoned agents and give them nuggets for both.
Yes.
And so any nuggets that you can give for seasoned or new agents is super,
Yeah.
super helpful. Like as far as for a new agent, what would you do now? I know that we're going to touch on your social media because you are amazing in your
Oh, thank
Porchlight
you.
website, and it's a really cute play on words with porch, and it's lyte.com. So
Yes. I wanted a
anybody,
little modern twist to it.
I love it. So anybody wanting to learn a little bit more about social media and building that, Tracy can help you with all those things, and we'll go over a whole bunch more about
Mhm.
that. I'm excited to learn more. Um, so kind of just tell me the basics. How did you get so involved in the social media? How did that part of your business start?
Well, right from the get-go, I've always been a very creative person. Like, I mean, if I Oh, I should always have this on my table with me. Like if I could show you some of the newsletters that I would send out to my clients in the past, because back in the day, that's what you did. You sent out
Right.
newsletters like, by postage, not electronically, and I would do them myself. So I've always been a creative person. I design my flyers and all that kind of stuff. And I just found that one day I was searching for a little bit more, and I just found that there wasn't a whole lot in our industry. So I just thought, you know what? Like, and a lot of people would come up to me in my office, and because I was a younger agent and the first 10 years into the business, I felt like I was clawing my way to the top. Like it was a tough road because back in the day, I was a young female realtor when the average age of realtors back then were 55 and they were male. So I was definitely not the norm in the real estate industry. So, trying to figure out different ways to stand out from everybody, and I was just finding the stuff that I was seeing was the same stuff over and over again. So I kind of put my love of being creative with the marketing background that I do have, like being a real estate agent, and kind of developed Porchlight. And I've been 6 years now with
Wow.
Porchlight. So
Okay.
every year it's getting better and better. We service agents from all over North America, so Canada and the US. I would say we probably have about 80% of our members are from the US, even though we are a
Oh,
Canadian-based company. But
okay.
but yeah, so I'm definitely like, so people were coming up to me in the office and asking like, how did you do it? How did you become successful? What like are some tips and tricks? And I have always like shared them with people. I've had no problem sharing my secrets, so to speak, with other people because I am a firm believer that there is enough business out there for everybody. So if you are a new agent and you're
Mhm.
looking at these top agents going, "Oh my God, can I make it?" Like, yes, you can make it. You can make it in
Yes.
this industry. There is definitely enough work for everybody out there. It doesn't matter the market that you're working in.
Mhm.
It's what you're doing as an agent to get yourself business. So, when people were coming up to me asking me these questions, I kind of collectively took everything that I knew over the years and just kind of put it into a platform where people can come in, they can pick and choose what they need for the real estate business. We do coaching calls in there. So if you want to like come ask your questions, you can definitely come and do that. And yeah, so that's a sort of really long roundabout way of answering your question.
Yeah. Well, do you have other people that work with you, or are you the main one?
So I mean, I guess you would call me that I'm the face of the business and the brand,
Yeah.
but yes, I definitely have a team behind me. We have professional copywriters, we have professional graphic designers that are Canva certified that work on our team,
Nice.
customer service team, tech team, all that kind of stuff. So in the beginning, like 6 years ago, it was definitely just me, myself, and I trying to figure it all out. And then as we grew, we grew the team and we're at about 10 or so
Wow,
people on the team that, make Porchlight what it is today.
that's awesome. Well, I dug around in there a little bit, and I'm going to take a little more time to dig around in there, but I definitely highly recommend anybody listening to this go to porchlight.com because it's got some good stuff in there.
Yeah, thank you. We try and appeal to everybody, people that are just getting started into social media, people
Hmm.
that have maybe been in it a while, but they're looking to scale, and people that are just too busy or have no interest. We'll do it for you too. So we have that service as well too.
That's me.
Yeah.
Do one thing that I've learned, and tell me if I'm wrong, is you don't have to be an expert in everything.
No, you
You
don't.
don't, and do what you like, and then pay somebody to do the other things. And that does take some time when you're new.
Yes,
Um,
trying
you
to
know,
figure it out.
and this doesn't just happen. You didn't just overnight hire 10 people and
No.
know how to run a business and all that. And I would say it's kind of the same thing with real estate too. Don't think like you
Yep.
can learn it all your first year. You can't.
Yes.
I mean, I'm still learning.
Yep.
It's
I'm still
still
learning too. You
all
know,
the
30
time.
30 years in the business and I'm still learning.
Right.
And the good news out there for anybody that has been in the business for a long time, but is new to social media marketing because
Mhm.
it can be very overwhelming, very intimidating. I just want
Right.
to say one thing. It is the exact same way you market your business, how we did back in the day when it was just we were restricted to newspapers, billboards, bus benches, cold call. It's the same thing. The only difference that's changed is the platform.
Right.
So instead of, taking out those expensive newspaper, ads, it's been replaced with Facebook ads. Instead of maybe doing crazy networking events all the time, you join a Facebook group, and you
Right.
can do your like so it's the same things that we did 30 years ago. It's just a different platform. It's a different playing field. And the good news, 90% of the marketing that you can do for your business is free. It's
Right.
organic. which is amazing because I remember back in the day, it was like $1,000 a week to put an ad in the newspaper. It was crazy. And it was
Insane.
like the amount of money that went out for marketing was absolutely crazy. And nowadays you can get so specific and so
Mhm.
targeted with your marketing. Like if you want to work with like a busy mom that has 3 kids that just is looking for an extra bathroom, you can find that.
Mhm.
Like you can find those people and you can attract them to your business. Whereas, with traditional marketing, it's great for branding and
Mhm.
there's still some great practices, but it's just so much more expensive and so much more difficult to scale. So that was another reason why I went into the direction of social media marketing, just
Yeah.
because it gives you another avenue to advertise your real estate business where you can get where you can see quicker results than, your traditional marketing.
Gotcha. That's well, now when you I know you've got all kinds of strategies to grow your
Yes.
online. Give us a few examples of that and how to optimize your profile also.
Okay. So the first thing, oh, sorry, there's my alarm to go pick up my daughter at school.
Uh-oh.
But don't worry, she's getting picked up by somebody else.
Okay, good.
So, the number one thing that I want to tell people, a lot of times I'll talk to agents and they're like, okay, so I have a Facebook account and I'm gonna do Instagram and I want to have a YouTube channel and should I do TikTok and what about Twitter, which is not Twitter, it's X, and I have Snapchat and it's like, whoa, relax. You just need to pick one or two platforms and start there and get really good at those platforms before you add another one. Do not get caught up in, in the FOMO, in the fear of missing out, because say you have somebody in your office that has a YouTube channel that does really well on YouTube and you're like, oh my God, I should have a YouTube channel. Maybe I should have a podcast. Don't get
Yeah,
caught up in that. Just
right.
do something where you're comfortable, get really good at it, and add on to it. And the reason why is when people go to those areas, they're going to know that you're not there on a regular basis. They may go to your YouTube channel and go, God, Tracy hasn't posted a video here in 2 years. Is she even in the business anymore? So
Right.
you want to make sure that that's the number one rule. Just pick one or two platforms and get really good at it. People often ask, like, what's the best platform to be on? The the best platform to be on is where your ideal client is hanging out. So,
Okay.
if you are a younger agent and you love to work with first-time home buyers, yeah, you probably should have a TikTok account, an Instagram account, maybe a YouTube channel. If you're working for, or you like to work with people that are downsizing, relocating, maybe you just want to be on Facebook, maybe you just want to be on Instagram. Like you have to, you want to be where your people are at, because if you're on the wrong platform trying to make it but you're not really wanting to work with those types of people, you're just wasting your time. So the other tip that I can give you too is, somebody had asked me, well, what's the number one platform? Like, what's the number one platform that real estate agents should be on? There's no clear, direct answer for that. However, we find that Instagram is definitely a place that you want to be, only because Instagram is a very visual platform. So
Mhm.
it's perfect for our industry to showcase our listings, to be able to talk to people on video, but you don't have to make 30-minute videos like YouTube. You can make them short and snappy and
Great.
to the point. So, Instagram is a good place to be. So if you have a Facebook account and you want to, grow your account, going to something like Instagram is a, great next step. And the other thing, sorry, I could go on and on. I just got a couple more points, and then I swear
No,
to
you're
God,
great.
Lisa, I'm going to let you back in.
You're great. No, no, no. This is all about you. We're good.
um, Now watch, I lost my train of thought here. So the other couple of things that I wanted to make a point of mentioning is when people are looking for real estate agents, say somebody recommended you, say a friend of yours had a friend that your name got recommended to them. That person, the first thing that they're going to do is they are going to search for you on social media. They're not going to Google anymore. That's not their first place that they stop or start. Their first place that they start is social media. So they're looking at your Facebook business pages, they're looking at your Instagram profiles. They want to know more about you as an agent before they pick up the phone to say, hey, Lisa gave me your name. Can you be our agent? Like they're going to do a little
Right.
stalking ahead of time. So that's why it's super important to have your social media pages and profiles set up properly. Now, you asked me a few minutes ago in my long-winded answer, what are some of the things that you can do to set those profiles and pages up correctly?
Yes.
You want to, Facebook is pretty straightforward, making sure that you have your name, your address, all your contact info, that's pretty straightforward. But when it comes to your Instagram account, your bio, which is the section at the top, you are limited to only 150 characters in that area. So you want to make sure that what you're talking about, you have to be able to pack a lot in such a small area. So the number one thing that you want to do is make sure that you have your location in there and in your name. So with Instagram, you have two names. You have your Instagram handle, which is like at Porchlight. And then underneath that, you have an area that says name. So you would put your name and then you want to put the area that you service. The reason why you want to do that, because that is the one of the only areas on Instagram that is searchable. So if you've got the area that you service wrapped up with your name, when people go on Instagram and they're searching for, properties in Toronto, if you've got Toronto in there, your profile is going to show up in their feed. So that's more eyeballs on your business. So that's the number one rule. You always want to make sure that you've put the name in of the area that you service. Now, when you move down the profile a little bit, there also is an area that you can tag a location. So, or sorry, pardon me, tag an address, like put an address in. So it's always good to put your brokerage's address in there as well, because it's another location area that will come up on your profile. So making sure your profile's optimized, those are the two most important things to do. And then, of course, infusing a little bit of your personality in your profile. So you could be a dog mom of 3 wiener dogs. I don't know, whatever the case may be. Like, or maybe you're an aunt who loves knitting, or showcasing your personality in that area. So when people do land on your pages and profiles and they know nothing about you, they can find that common connection with people. So if you think of it in a way like when you're hosting an open house, the people that are coming in, you're talking with them, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you run? I run too. I've run, over 12 half marathons. Let people know that in your bio. It's the same kind of thing as what happens like during those open houses, or when you're talking to people at, the grocery store, or meeting somebody for the first time. So infusing a bit of your personality in those pages and profile will give people a glimpse as to what they can expect to, to work with you. And it also helps build that trust that we try so hard to get with people, by doing those few little tweaks. And there's so many other things too that, you want to make sure that you're using keywords that are relative to the industry and your market area, because it's like with social media, like websites, they have, SEO in social media. So your keywords become searchable. So you want to make sure that, and your keywords is usually your location that you're servicing, and, whether it's like Dallas houses, you know, Dallas condo living, or whatever the case may be. So again, your profile will come up on people's searches.
That's awesome news. Now, can you use, is that something that ChatGPT could help you with as far as those things too?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. We love ChatGPT.
Oh,
We
me too.
actually we have an AI inside of Porchlight, well, inside of Agent Social House, which we love her. We call her a she. Her name is Lumi. And you can do that inside of Agent Social House as well too. But same thing with ChatGPT. You can go in there and say, can you create a bio for my Instagram page? Make sure it's filled with keywords and the location of the area that I service. And it'll give you a whole bunch of suggestions. And then, of course, you can work with
Yes.
ChatGPT to refine it and make it the way you want it.
That's awesome. That's been a total game changer this year for so
Yes,
many things that I do. It's
I know.
amazing.
I know. I love ChatGPT. I use it all the time too.
Makes you look really amazing.
It
I love,
does.
and I love that it formats
Yep.
and puts, just does all the grammar, does all the things. And sometimes I'm like, do it again, do it again. I'm like, oh, she's gonna get tired in there working.
Yeah,
You
and you
have
know
to,
what? It eventually over time it gets to know who you
yes,
are and your business, so it just becomes better and better the
your
more that you
style.
use it. Yeah.
Right. What are some methods to generate leads from your social media? I know we all need leads, and before social media, it was really, really expensive to buy leads. And what would be like if you were brand new starting over, like let's just say you moved to a new city,
Mhm.
what would you do to start your business?
So the one thing that you want to do is you want to be posting consistently on social media. Now, posting consistently can mean different things to different people. You want to make sure that you're doing something that's sustainable to you. So if you think that you can post 3 times a week, that's fantastic. Post 3 times a week. Or if you have to start with once a week, that's okay. And then again, just build off of that. And the more it's like a muscle. The more you do it, the easier it gets. It's just like brushing our teeth. Like we have to do that every single day. It's the same with social media. You don't have to post every single day, but just getting that consistency is super important. So once you get your presence, because you want to have a presence on social media, you got to grab people's attention. So you
Hmm.
do that by making value-based social media posts. So the number one mistake that I see with real estate agents is I will often go to their Instagram pages as well as Facebook page, and I see nothing but just listed, just sold, just listed. I won this award. Here's a testimonial, and it's all about them. It is
Hmm.
self-serving. Nobody is interested in seeing that. The only time it became relative was a few years ago when there were no listings anywhere in, North America. The market was crazy.
Right.
So if you had a new listing, yeah, of course you want to post about it because people are going to pay attention to it. But there is a time and a place for that. Like you can post 20% of the time about your business, but then the other 80% is you want it value based. You want it helpful information. So if you are
Hmm.
a new realtor coming to an or a new area, I always tell people, and this is a super trendy right now, is focusing on local areas in your, area that you service and showcasing like maybe the small businesses that are in that area. We had a member, actually, I use this example all the time. Every Monday, she would take her dog for a walk, and her dog's name was Mia. So she would do Monday walks with Mia.
Oh,
And
cute.
what she would do is she would just take a selfie, a picture of her and her dog, and she would talk about the particular, park that she took her dog to, the area that they were in walking. And then she would talk about what's happening in that particular area, whether there was some new construction, maybe it was a brand new dog park, maybe it was a fantastic place to get coffee after with her dog, whatever the case may be. So every Monday, she would do these posts, and they were so well received by people because it gives people a glimpse as to who you are as a person, what you
Mhm.
like to do behind the scenes, but you're also giving them helpful information. Like maybe you didn't know that there was a daycare opening up in that area. And that's, something that you were keeping an eye on, maybe you were considering moving to. So, posting stuff about local events and local happenings in your area is super popular. And then once you get kind of like consistent with your posting, you're building up your followers, you want to make sure that you have what's called a lead magnet. Because what we want to do is we want to take people from social media and we want to put them in our database, because you have probably experienced this where there's been glitches where all of a sudden Instagram is no longer, or just a few weeks ago where TikTok went dark for like 12 hours and the whole world came crashing down because they couldn't
Freaked
access
out.
TikTok. They were
Yeah.
freaking out. And people have to remember, social media is rented ground. We do not own our followers. We do not own the people that, we're talking to on social media. So if we can get them off of social media as soon as possible, and we do that by having a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is a something of value that you will give to somebody, whether it's a local guide of some sort, a checklist, it could be even a video series. It's something helpful that somebody is looking for. They're looking for the answers to solve their problem. It could be, and I use this example all the time, the top 10 questions to ask your home inspector.
Yeah, that's great.
That's something that's super valuable. So create a guide about that. So once you have your lead magnet, and we like inside of Agent Social House, we show you how to like connect these digitally. So at the end of the day, without going into too much technical detail, you have a link that you can then post all over social media. You want everybody to know, I have this amazing local guide, that if you want to grab a copy, click the link. And then what happens is it opens up into a form. So if they want a copy of that, they have to leave their name and their email address in exchange
Mhm.
for that copy of that local
Gotcha.
guide or checklist or video series, or maybe it's a podcast series, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
So then you're taking that email and you're putting it into the database, and then you're going to nurture them after. So ideally, you want to have like an email series, a drip campaign
Mhm.
that sends them emails once you have delivered that guide to them. Once that series of emails has gone through, then you can relocate them to your newsletters. Hopefully, you send out a monthly newsletter that they begin to, get that newsletter. So when they are ready to buy or sell, you have kept top of mind with them for however long, and hopefully they'll call you, because it's at the end
Mhm.
of the day, it's all about numbers. The more people we can
Right.
get into our database, the bigger our book of business is going to be. And that's exactly if you're at the other end of the spectrum as a real estate agent and you want to retire and you want to sell your business, the first thing that people look at when they look at buying your business is how big is your book of business? How big is your database? So this is a really effective way of getting people into your database is having a lead magnet of some sort, whether, like I say, it's in the form of a guide or a checklist or whatever. And ideally, it's for it's something that is going to appeal to your ideal client that you want to work with. So whether, like I said, I used that example before, whether it's the busy moms, or maybe it's you want to work with veterans or empty nesters, whatever the case may be, whatever you're
Right.
offering is going to attract those types of people. So that's how you get your ideal client working with you.
Awesome. Some good advice. Some
Yeah.
super good advice. Okay, so what would you say some of the top social media mistakes are that they make, and how do you avoid them?
Yeah. So, well, we touched upon the number one mistake is you all you're posting about is you and your business. You're
Yes.
too salesy when it comes, and it's, you know what, honestly, I have to say it's through no fault of the agent. They, especially if social media is new to them, they're just sort of learning the process. And that's how, again, I talked about traditional marketing. That's what we did is we advertised our listings.
Right.
That's how we advertised our business. It's different nowadays. It's all about branding you, your individual self, not the brokerage or the office that you work for. You
100%.
you yourself. So giving value is number one when it comes to social media. And that's why I always say, like, why HGTV is so popular. People love behind the scenes. They want to know how things work. They want to get their questions answered. So that's definitely the number one mistake is that people are too salesy. The other number two mistake is they want engagement on their social media channels. They may say to me, well, I'm posting, I'm doing all the things, but nobody's commenting. Well, are you commenting on other people's channels? In order to get engagement, you have to give engagement. So, and again, ideally, you are finding accounts where your ideal client might be hanging out at. So whether it's a local business and the local business just posted, come get our sourdough loaf on Saturdays, sourdough Saturdays, and you make a comment about it. So you're becoming more and more visible on social media. So people are more likely to click like, oh, who's this girl clicking? They'll click on your name, which pops them over to your profile to find out more about you. So, and it's same with leaving genuine comments with like the people that you already know that are on social media. If you have people on your database, you need to take your database, go through it, and add those people to your social media channels. Find them on social media, become friends with them, comment on their profiles in a genuine way. If somebody said, oh, happy birthday, Tracy, leave a happy birthday comment. So the more you're engaging with people on social media, the more engagement and more eyeballs that you're going to get on your profile. So that's definitely tip number two. Make it value and make it genuine by engaging with other accounts, and don't be salesy. And then also don't post and ghost. Don't post something and then disappear for the next 12 hours, because if it happens to be a really good post that people are commenting on, you want to be in there as well, commenting back. Always make sure you are replying in a genuine way to people. If they make a comment on your post, don't go, oh, thanks. Say, oh,
Right.
that's, thank you so much. What did you find most helpful? Or what did you like the best? What transformation did you like best? The kitchen or the bathroom? Like you want to, like I say, not pretend, but when you're at an open house with somebody or meeting someone, you're having a conversation with them, a back and forth conversation. It's the same thing with social media. So making sure that you are having those dialogues on social media as well.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Um, okay, so going a step further as far as turning those leads into those followers into leads. So we've got the magnet, we're going out there. How are you, without being salesy, kind of on a fine line, like you've got their contact info. Is there something, anything else that you can do that's being genuine, being genuinely interested, but how to get more from social?
Like from like the people that have opted into your
Or
lead
maybe
magnet.
before that point, getting more people to the magnet, maybe. Is
Oh,
it
okay.
just, would it be like something that would stay? I guess maybe an example, maybe we can, and I can't really share a screen, and a lot of people will be listening to this without video. So,
That's okay. Yeah, I can definitely answer that. So
okay.
there are a few things that you can do on social media that'll have more bang for your buck, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. So in the hierarchy of like getting the most eyeballs on your video is definitely original video content. So, what do I mean by original video content? That's you talking on video.
Yeah.
So, we talked about the top 10 questions to ask a home inspector. That's you
Yes.
picking up your phone. You don't have to have anything fancy. You don't have to have a video crew. You don't have to have a special, camera to do your videos. Your phone is perfectly fine. Put it on
Yeah.
a tripod, stand in front of it and say, you know what? I get the same top questions that my buyers ask home inspectors all the time. And I want to share that with you today because it's super helpful. Number one, ask them this. So, doing video where you're talking
Mm-hmm.
is going to be the best bang for your buck, especially if you're using keywords while you're talking. So, talking about your local area real estate, using the word real estate, using home inspectors. So, using the words that people use to search for something, those are your
Okay.
keywords. So, those are the keywords that you want to be using everywhere. So, not just on your Instagram bio, but when you are verbally talking, using those keywords because the algorithm picks up on those keywords as well as when you're typing out a caption for that video. So now you've recorded your video, you're going to post it, but you want to talk a little bit about it in the caption, making sure you're using those keywords in the caption as well too. So that's the number one thing that's going to get you the most bang for your buck is doing an original video of you talking. You don't necessarily have to be talking either. And that's another problem that a lot of people have is they're camera shy, which I totally get. And what's super popular right now is doing B-roll. So what's B-roll? B-roll simply is video of you doing anything. And if you actually go to Porchlight's Instagram account, you'll see me doing the stupidest things. Like I just posted a video not too long ago of me eating tortilla chips. Like it literally can be anything. I've done them where I'm filling up a pot of water at my stove. Like you can do you walking across your screen, your video screen. You don't necessarily have to be talking. So this is called B-roll. So it's a video of you doing something because it's people's it's just in them naturally to like to want to know to see the end result. Like where is she walking? What's the bed going to look like once she's done fluffing the pillows? Like, I want to see the end result. So that captures their attention. So that's one way to capture the attention. The second is the text that you overlay on top of your video is also super important. Again, using those keywords, making sure it's keyword rich. So doing reels, short form video is definitely the number one thing that you can do to increase your reach. The number two thing that you can do that has been super popular is what's called a carousel post. So a carousel post is either a graphic or photos that you come across on Instagram where you can swipe and see the next picture. So, when somebody's posted multiple pictures, you can swipe and you can see the next one. Well, there's lots of different tips and tricks that you can do with carousel posts. Like if you had a house that you were flipping, you can do before and afters. You could make a graphic up on Canva and talk about those same 10 tips, 10 questions you want to ask your home inspector, make a graphic about it on Canva, download those as images and put them on your profile so people scroll to see the next question. They're scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. The reason why that's important is the algorithm will pick up on that, because when people are scrolling on Instagram, they're scroll, but they're like, oh, stop. What's Tracy doing? Why is she eating tortilla chips? I want to know about, and then they'll swipe to the next frame and go, oh, that's cool. She's talking about the top 10 questions to ask your home inspector, or local events happening in the area. So what that does is it triggers the algorithm to go, oh, Tracy's got something that people are finding interesting. So I'm going to send that out to more people. So more eyeballs on your business. So number one, top thing you can do is video. Number two, your carousel posts. Now, both with your videos and your carousel posts, you always want to also make sure that you are using trending audio or trending music with your video. So if you are doing a talking video, you can add music on top of that and put the volume of the music to 0. Or you could put it to 1 or 2 so it's softly playing in the background. You don't want to drain out your own voice. But the algorithm does not recognize that you've turned the volume all the way down. They do recognize that you are using a trending audio. So when people are stopping on your profile, you've got the trending audio. That's your winning recipe to get more eyeballs on your business. So making sure you're using video, pairing it with trending audio or sounds, doing carousel posts, same thing. You can add music to your carousel posts. And then of course, just, like your regular photos. If you've got something that you are a part of over the weekend and you want to post about it, go ahead and post about it. People often ask me, like, I have an Instagram account for my business and I have one for my personal life. You don't need two. You just need one. You just need one account because people want to know what you're doing behind the scenes. And half the time, people that are following you are probably your sphere of influence anyways. So they want to know, what have you been up to this weekend? And it's okay. And it's actually encouraged to showcase a little bit about your life, like what you do on the weekends, what you do in the evenings, like
you don't work all the time.
No, exactly. Because again, we're trying to build that know, like, and trust factor, and that's the easiest way to do it, is just to be yourself. Like I always tell people, a lot of my members are like, oh, I hate the way I look on camera. Oh, I'm like, okay, so what do you do when you're in the grocery store and you run into people? You can't do it. You can't put a brown paper bag on your head.
No.
And a little eye. So like people see you at Starbucks, they see you at the grocery store. So that's all your own. That's all in your head. And once you can get past that, and that's why B-roll is super popular right now. That's one way of kind of getting around it. The other thing is, if you want to do a talking video, you could do it 10 times until you are comfortable with how you sound or how you look
Right.
before you post it. You don't have to post the first video that you ever record. If you don't like it, hit delete,
Do it
start again
again.
until you're comfortable with it. So, yeah. So a lot of times we just get into our heads too much when it comes to that
That
stuff.
is, or you think you've got to do some big fancy thing and then you spend all this time planning. Just do it.
Yes,
Just
that's
do
right.
it.
Because
Yeah.
it's progress, not perfection. Just
Yes.
get started. The hardest thing about all of this, the hardest thing is just getting started. That
Right.
is the number one roadblock that you will come across is getting started. Once you get started, it will become easier and easier and easier. Like the video, I cringe at it's like going back to that, like I said, the newsletter that I used to do for my clients back, 25, 30 years ago. Like I look at it now and I have a good laugh. Like it's hilarious to see. But you know what? I wouldn't have Porchlight today if I didn't start that newsletter, you know?
Right.
So it's the same with your real estate business on social media. You just have to get started. You will figure it out. You will make mistakes, and that's
Mhm.
okay. That's where
Right.
we learn. And that's where you become more humanized
Mhm.
as far as your real estate business and brand go. I could just talk about this all day long. I know I
I
keep
just,
rambling.
I just looked at my clock and we're like, you have been amazing.
It's
And
all right.
this
I
is
took
like
so
the
much time.
quickest. No, no, no. I have learned, look, I got three pages of
Oh my
notes.
goodness. Oh, that's amazing.
You're amazing. So
Oh.
yes, we're almost we're like overtime and that's okay. And I appreciate you being on here so much.
Oh.
Um, you've just given so much to season agents, and I know that whole social media thing is it's everybody does it, but we're kind of a little nervous and we don't really know what to do. And so definitely the porch light with the
Yeah, because
lyte.com.
that's right. We will definitely help you.
But
I am there. I show up on those Zoom coaching calls.
yes,
And like anybody can be successful at social media. There are
love it.
plenty of viral grandma accounts on social media. My
Yes,
80-plus-year-old mother sends me videos all the time, and it's hilarious.
mine
Like,
too.
so anybody can do it. It's just,
Yes,
a matter of getting started, and we definitely will help you with that. And we want to
yes.
make it as easy as possible. All of the things that I talked about, the lead
Hmm.
magnets, all those social media posts, we
Hmm.
we do all of that for you. It's already done
That
inside the
is
membership. So
wonderful.
it's literally like watching your favorite, Yellowstone episode on Netflix. You just go in and you pick and choose what you want and you take it for your
Okay.
business and it's already done for you. So we
Oh,
we
that's
definitely do
wonderful.
all the heavy lifting and just try and help you as much as we can along the way.
I so appreciate that. Well, look,
Yeah,
I think we're going to wrap it up. I have one question that I always ask,
sure.
and that is, and it's totally off subject of social media, but reeling it back to real estate itself. Um, is there one transaction that you've done in your life that just pops into your mind that was just you really helped somebody, it made you feel really good. It's probably not the biggest one that you did, but just something that pops in your mind that really gave you that feel good.
Yes, and I'm gonna try really hard not to cry when I
Oh,
tell you
that's
this
the
story.
best. I've got
I gotta bite
goosebumps.
my knuckles. I gotta pinch my cheeks. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry.
That's the best.
So it definitely an amazing story, and it's definitely a multi-layer story that takes a while to tell. But I will give you the Cliff Notes version. I helped a young woman, purchase her first condo, and during the process, she had an unfortunate accident. A barbecue blew up in front of her, and she was
Oh my,
sent to the burn unit. It was like touch and
oh
go. It was
my
crazy.
gosh.
And while she was recovering in intensive care, It was crazy. She still went ahead with the purchase of the condo. I kept telling her, don't worry about it. There will be other places. You concentrate on
Wow.
healing. And she was like, no, like this is so important to me. And this was back in the day where, we were writing on contracts and I was saying, press hard, you're making 6 copies. Like this, again, I'm dating
Yes.
myself.
Yeah.
So when I got the contract back from her, like, I mean, her signature was like, it was just like a child's signature. It was just
Oh.
terrible. But the drive, she was such a proud woman. And the
Mhm.
fact that she went through with it at the end. So, we had obviously a longer possession. And once she got out of the hospital and she fully recovered, I was able to be there to give her her keys. And it was just a moment that
Oh.
still gives me chills. We both cried. It
Oh.
was, it was definitely, she had a very tough life growing up as well, too. And that's a whole other story about her life.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just I just felt so amazing to be a part of her journey.
Wow.
And that's the amazing part of what we do is, we get to help people who sometimes are in terrible, terrible, terrible situations, and we get to be that facilitator that takes them to the other side where
Mm-hmm.
things are better, things are brighter. And that's the part of my job that I love. And a lot of times they become lifelong friends because you
Yes.
build that connection. And
Yes.
yeah, I still get shivers every,
That's my favorite part. I know. I'm a big crier too, and if
yeah.
you
I made
know that
through
it's
without crying.
I know
Yeah.
it's like that real part of it, and I just people that don't feel it, I'm a feeler. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um that's good. Well, look,
Thanks,
let's
Val.
let's wrap it up, and thank you so much for being part of
You're
her
so
real estate
welcome.
journey. You've got quite the long journey.
Yeah, quite the story, I know.
You do. It's I absolutely love it. And I just want to just thank you so much for being a guest. And
Oh,
we'll
thank you for
definitely
having
in the
me.
show notes we'll have all your contact, and everybody check out porchlight.com because it is
Oh,
just
thank you. Appreciate
I'm
so
gonna
much.
spend some more time on there myself, and hey, who knows? So
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for
all
having
right.
me, Lisa.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for listening to Her Real Estate Journey. I hope you're inspired to conquer your own real estate path. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow us on social media for updates and more stories. Until next time, keep shining and make your mark. I'm Lisa Dillon, and this is Her Real Estate Journey.